In what's proving to be a massive year for bookies and a terrible year for Cheryl in the office tipping comp.
Yeah, Shazza.
The Dragons are in front of a competition that has seen three of the perennial sides that never go well, in the Tigers, the Knights, and to some extent the Warriors, sitting on top of the comp. Now, Will, you wouldn't have picked this round too.
No, I think the last couple of years you've always seen the Dragons up there somewhere, but not the Warriors, not the Panthers, or the Tigers. It's refreshing actually looking at it. You know, obviously the Dragons have been pretty good starters the last couple of years, but the Warriors, Panthers, and Tigers aren't usually near the top. So they're the sort of clubs that need to jag a few of these games at the start to really contest at the end, because you know your Roosters, your Eagles, Storm. You know, the Broncos, Cowboys, they're going to come home with a hell of a lot of wins.
Who's your biggest surprise so far? I mean, for me, it's probably the Tigers. The Knights, they bought Ponga, they bought Pearce.
Guerrero.
They got
Kenny Dow halfway through the year.
They've got a good roster. The Tigers are basically a team of cobbled together blokes.
Yeah. I think they underestimated the buys of Madalino and Russell Packer. The leadership that Russell Packer, he's been given the captaincy already. And that shows a lot, you know. And when we talk about rehabilitating players in the last couple of weeks, he's our perfect example. He's captaining an NRL side right now, and he's in the New Zealand side as well. So good on you, Rusty, for everything you've done the last couple of years, mate. You deserve it. You know, the Tigers, and they've got a really well-balanced side, you know, and they haven't even got Josh Reynolds in the side. So
what do they do with when Reynolds comes back? Does Benji stay?
I think Benji needs to stay, because Benji's been an outstanding role model for them, for the Tigers kids. And it's like he's grown another leg. I think he's 32, 33 years old now. He's become a game manager. You're not going to see the flick passes, the stepping through the whole pack and everything like that you used to be seen with Benji, but he's more of a game manager now. He's kicking the ball out at the right time. He's looking after his forwards. He's throwing the right ball at the right time. He's playing some of his best football, I think. I think Brooks needs to go to 9. I put Benji at 7 and Josh at 6. I just think it really balances their side out. And I think Brooks, just looking at him, I think he's got all the skills to be a 9. And I just think it's the best fit for their team. And you know, the young kid who's been doing a job for him now, he's neither here nor there. Maybe he needs a couple more games or a couple of years in reserve grade. But I think Brooks, his long term will be a 9. Like I don't think he's a 7. He's been given a lot of chances at 7, but he hasn't really shined and taken the massive opportunities that he should have taken. So Benji to 7, give Josh Reynolds, he's a game breaker, he can change the game, and you don't know what he's going to do. So you put him at 6, you can't leave him out of the starting side. So I think that would be their best thing, but I'm not sure. What do you do? Do you change the, you know, the winning two teams? You got to reward people that have been doing well. So, you know, they've been doing well, but I just can't see Cleary leaving Josh Reynolds out of the side. They bought him, he's their marquee player.
So teams that do need to change things, obviously they were pre-season favourites almost, was Parramatta. The Cronulla Sharks haven't won a game, and I don't think too many people would have picked that they'd be towards the bottom of the table. I mean, it is early days. And Souths are looking like bastards as well. So
it's pretty weird when you look at the bottom of the table. Or the bottom 4, Sharks, Rabbits, Bulldogs and Eels. I think, you know, all 4 of them teams could have easily won their first 2 games. But, you know, with how it is now, everybody's so critical on everything. Everyone's trying to have a crack at Hayne and saying he's this and that.
Well, to be fair, they got beat 647-0 on the weekend. I don't think they could have won that. But I mean, one of the other things that's interesting from that game, now it was about 50 degrees yesterday. Parramatta warmed up for about half an hour or so before the game. Surely, in heat like that, you're not overstepping the mark before a game starts. And did the heat play any role in the Para side?
I hear a lot of journos trying to say it doesn't really count in what happened in the game because they played poor, they started poor. There's a reason why they started poor, and I'm not fully blaming it, but as a player, if you had done that to me or to any of the sides that I was with, a 40-degree day at Brookvale, and you warm us up and do a training session for half an hour, the team is going to resent you, you know. So it's just backfired on him massively. I said, you just can't do that to players. People have their own routines which they go through every single game, and taking the field at Brookvale at 40 degrees, and think if it's 40 degrees in the sun on the pitch, it's about 46. So their whole routine is not going to Brookvale early to do a half-hour running session to warm up in a day like that. So I can see how they come out flat and pissed off. It looked like they didn't want to play for the coach. Well, and I can see that, because if you do that to some players like a Jared Hayne and some of the characters that they do have in their team, they don't look like the strongest people mentally. So you can easily switch them off their game. And if you're off your game these days, bang, 54-0.
I reckon the worst job in the world is an NRL coach. I mean, it can turn so quickly. You look at some of those teams that are at the top, their coaches were under pressure to perform, and all of a sudden they're geniuses. The reverse of that is Brad Arthur, last year, was being talked about Coach of the Year. Now he's getting hammered 2 games in.
He's getting hammered simply because of, I think, this week, of what he did before the game. That's his call. Does he think that they need a little bit of a training run before an NRL game? The preparation is done. You talk to some of the greatest coaches, you know, Wayne Bennett's and all that. If you can turn up on game day, if you haven't done all the work during the week, then you're not ready to play. You know, like regardless what you do on game day, if you haven't done the work from Monday to Friday, you're not ready to play.
Yeah.
So that's a load of shit, training people on that game day. I don't know what his excuse was, but it was the worst move ever. It's backfired massively. And the players need to take accountability as well. They played awful, but it's only round 2. I expect the Eels to be up there at the end of the year. I think all bottom 4 teams might be fighting for, you know, the bottom 8.
Use Bulldogs, please.
Maybe the Bulldogs. Don't count them out, mate.
I reckon, so I went to the Waratahs game on Sunday, and they actually stopped the game 20 minutes into each half for a drinks break, which I thought was quite sensible. I was at the game. It was 1,000,000 degrees in the stand. I'm surprised that they didn't do the same thing in the rugby league, to be honest.
I think some of the reporters were even saying that. They thought it was a bit of a joke that there wasn't a 20-minute mandatory drink when it gets to some sort of degrees. I think something needs to happen, and I hate saying stuff like this, but like, why does it have to, something severe have to happen? Like someone faint on the game for heat stroke? I mean, I know all these players are supposed to be professional players and hydrate properly and do everything right, but some players are rookies. They don't know that. They don't know if they're going to play at Brookvale on a Sunday and it's going to heat up on the ground to about 45 degrees. So there's some big boys floating out there. Yeah. So if somebody fainted or something happened, like, who's to blame there? So I'm just thinking someone has to. We have to be more. We have to be more proactive than reactive.
Yeah.
You know, with stuff like that, and player welfare has to be paramount with everything. And I just think it was a perfect example to show. I'm not sure whose call it was, but the refs or the players or the coaches. I'm not sure, but surely they needed a drink at 20 minutes on each half. Yeah. It's just only fair. And obviously having Clint Newton on here and him running through the RLPA's role with the NRL, with the players, I'm pretty sure something's going to happen.
Yeah.
And he was on the players' side, as he always is. So, you know, I'll be very surprised if something doesn't happen, you know, obviously next year, or if there's a hot game that's ridiculous towards the end of the year. So, yeah, the RLPA's always got the players' backs.
So, last year you managed to get Neil Henry and Des Hasler sacked because 5 minutes after you did your show.
Shit.
Who's going this year? Who's in the sights? Who's the first coach to get the arse?
Oh, God. Like, mid-year?
Mid-year. Mid-year. You know, it's a soap opera, mate. Someone's going.
Oh, my God. I'm just looking at the team now. I hate to say this, and I'm not going to get any coach sacked, but my guess would be Seabold from the Rabbits, because he's
2 games in, you've cruelled him.
Yeah, he's not on big money. He's accessible. You know what I mean? You can sort of use him and not be full blame if you're a GM or a CEO or the owner of the club or anything like that. Wouldn't be that much backlash. You know, if they go 0-4, 0-5, heads will roll at the Rabbits.
Yeah. Well, I can guarantee you, at the end of the season, the table will not look the same as what it looks now.
No. I think most coaches would be safe, but I just know with Seibs there at the Rabbits, and they want success this year. They don't want to be in the bottom 4. They want to be top 4.